Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. Today is Thursday, April the 10th, 7 p.m. Our invocation this evening will be given to us by volunteer, please. Mr. Hollis.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, once again we come before you, appreciating the privilege of living in this great country of ours. We thank you for the privilege for we have freedom of expression and a compassionate government. We ask that you guide us so that we can be worthy of that privilege. We especially ask that you guide our elected leaders in this endeavor. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. We have established a quorum. Councilman Nieto, Councilman Guerrero, and Councilman Rodriguez. If you could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Okay, first on our agenda, we're going to go on to one old business. I'm sorry. Do we have any citizen comments before we get started? Okay, 1A, consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes for regular council meeting on March the 27th.
Mayor, I move to approve the meeting minutes for the regular council meeting on March 27, 2014.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Guerrero, second by Councilman Nieto. All in favor?
Aye. Abstain.
All opposed? One. Motion carries 2-1-0. Okay, number 2, presentation and discussion. We're going to start with our city manager's report, sewer plant update.
Yes, sir, we're just going to see the screen so that we get going. In your package, you should have the PowerPoint presentation, but I have it here for everyone to see. Just a little background on the project itself. Based on your last meeting, can you hear me okay? No? Based on the last meeting, you wanted to have a presentation and an update on where we were for the still. There were actually a total of 3, but I want to go back and do a little background on reference to that. So actually the plant was actually started and on 2010 August, it was passed for about $853,000. And it was passed. The total cost at the end of the day was $1,097,000. The first bill that we could find that happened in the last 5 years was actually May 10th of 2012. They didn't have a plant there due to some rainfall. It was over 8 inches that happened over a 3-day period of time, but most of that containment happened inside of the plant itself. So that was the one historically that happened May 10th, about 3:15 in 2012. March 15th was the first plant spill. It came from the manhole located on Goliad, right there by the plant, adjacent to the storm drain and the drainage ditch itself. Approximately 2,000 gallons spilled. The on-call crew responded and residents called 911 to alert the police of the spill. I was contacted by Councilman Rodriguez and the on-call staff in reference to that spillage and came to that site. Several councilmen were there to come out to check and see if it was quite a bit of spillage, as well as the county commissioner that was there to give assistance and offered us to contact Sarah, as well as the city contacted Sarah in reference to helping clean up with the spill and using of equipment. There was a complaint that was brought to my attention that night that a local vendor had been reported dumping into the sewer itself. We don't believe that was the cause of the problem. The idea was to have them to allow them to dump supervised dumping for porta potties to be used at our state park in exchange, but they were supposed to be supervised dumping. But in light of what had happened, we eliminated all dumping in reference to that. And we did alert the community that if anyone was found dumping in a manhole, 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 1 o'clock in the morning, to contact the police in reference to that. The police were there on site, mostly because we called them for crowd control, as well as there were several 911 calls that kept coming in over dispatch that there was a spillage and a lot of activity at that site. The spill was actually due to mechanical failure of some floats. And Congressman Rodriguez was there, they were testing them, they were there almost at 2 o'clock in the morning testing that site. Strata Electric, I said that right, Andrew?
Yes.
Strata worked there till about 2 o'clock in the morning, troubleshooting some of the floats that were there. The little floats were not acting right, and so we troubleshooted till about 2 o'clock in the morning. On Sunday morning, Sarah was on site to assist us with a vacuum truck because it was pretty late and dark, as you know, that we were not able to adjust the site, although we put down some HTH mixture, but they were able to come and to do so. We actually used pumps and loaders, bobcats, dump trucks to dispose of the landfill, and the contaminated area was disinfected with HTH. TCEQ was actually on site on Sunday. We had one inspector in the morning, one in the afternoon, and we even had the assistance of the Floresville Police Department with some of their equipment. This is the actual Sarah truck that was there. They actually sent a 2-man truck to actually take out some of that spill that was there and to help us to alleviate some of that problem. We did barricade the site. We used police tape so that we can tell people do not cross this line, and we were able to do that the next day when we were able to see the site. As you can see, that's what the site looked like if we were trying to get out some of the water. We used some of our backhoe equipment. We were pumping the water backhoe so that we can actually have a canal. And we were cleaning up the spill. As you can see, it actually blocked anything going from underneath from one side to the other. So we need to clear off all that fill and dirt that has built up over years of sliding down from the sides. That's the manhole. As you see, we're getting to the apron of the concrete. That's our famous fire hose. We have some hoses, but they're nothing like the ones that they have in the fire department. They allowed us to use them for about 3 days. As we're clearing off the apron, you can see the underneath the street, and it is fully cleared and the apron is there. So we're going to be able to maintain this site as it looks right now today. There's no contaminated soil there. We've been able to disinfect and to clean. That's how it looks. We did have some rain during those days. That's the other side of the bridge. We cleaned up some loose weeds and some limbs that had fallen into that. Unfortunately, on the 21st, staff was notified of another plant spill. This one was about 50 gallons, overflow from the same manhole at 740 Goliad in the ditch. The floats were becoming tangled, and a failure of alarm system was discovered. HTH, and a jetting machine was used to wash it down and to suck up all the water that was affected. Alarm system was placed on a 2-hour power backup at the panel box itself. Then again on March 26th, about 7:30, staff was notified of a spill from the same manhole near the storm ditch. About 1,000 to 1,500 gallons of rainwater and spillage was noted. A power alarm malfunction. We located the vendor Five Star, who was actually the subcontractor on that site, on that development. He installed a all-divider alarm system. All floats were replaced, anchored, tied, spaced apart. TCQ was notified of the spill. They visited us here on site and set up our preliminary inspection. We had our first preliminary inspection on 4/30. I do want to tell you that the staff worked very diligently to get ready for that inspection. These are the things that they mentioned that we need to do. Clean up the beds. We need to have some missing signage. Our RPZ valve need to be certified. There's a fence line with some trees from a neighboring neighbor, and the grease trap ordinance. We have one in place, but there is a problem with enforcement. I can speak to that a little bit later. Actually today, he conducted his secondary inspection, and these are the things that he noted that we need to take care of. We need to do some more pH analysis at the time of collection. Of course, the spillage we call unauthorized discharges. Failure to comply with permit in reference to E. coli. We had an intruder issue in reference to the rental warehouse. There is a warehouse there by the city dump that you have a rental property there. You rent that warehouse out. They have keys. There's no security between the dump side and the sewer side. So we're either going to fence, gate, or do something so that no one can enter the plant. There's chemicals and things such as that. So we need to make sure that there's a security issue. But you can go back and forth right now. So we need to do that. They didn't note that on there. There's some vegetation that they think we need to take care of by the fence line at the community center and lift station. We need to install a taller fence with barbed wire to secure it. There's a sludge report that we are submitting to them, and I did attach in your information the TCQ reports that staff gave, as well as the inspection report that was submitted to me today. The cost. It's always about the money. Australia Electric, we paid a total of $2,305 for the installation of all new floats, replacement of the breaker, and 5 Star installed a backup float control, alarm reset button, flashing strobe, and high alarm for low-level alarm verification. A total cost of $6,095.12. Staff will be working with the city engineer, Mr. Heimer. He has this report, as do you. You're meeting with him on Friday, is that right?
That's right.
We're meeting with him on Friday to talk about a USDA application. Now, some time ago, about 2007, the city of Floresville entered into a special program with TCQ to address some issues that they were having even back in 2012. We did not complete all of those promises that we said at that time. However, some of the things we just installed were some of the things that they said we need to do. There's no penalty that will be assessed to the city. They will be monitoring us and probably visit us over the next year. But we can be able to say that these are the things that we need to take care of. Our open date is too close to some other issues that we can address when we go on our inspection there. We have a date for you. For our inspection, we want to go see another plant that they built in what community? Aaron, Andrew, what community is that? Somerset. Our engineer built a design water treatment plant for Somerset. It is operated by Sarah. And we want to go and visit that site so we can see what bells and whistles they have, what bells and whistles we would like to have. It's a little smaller than what we would need to have, but we want to be able to visit that. Staff is currently being cross-trained, which I think is important, so that the sewer and water both can operate that, not just the sewer. The plant is being monitored very closely, and to date, there's no additional spills. The computer equipment has been installed. The internet is something that we have to look at getting there, because if you can imagine, he needs to file these reports electronically. He actually has to come over here and do it. Our internet's already slow, but we want to get something on site for him as well. We're looking at doing some camera and other security issues, but we're also training some new staff. Mr. Johnny Luna retired. He had a certificate in water. So we have some new employees that we want to have them trained both in the sewer certification and also water. So we want to encourage them to take the classes. And I think that Andrew has to be recertified. It's his time. And it's also a time for us to redo our application. We're due in 2015. So it's time for us to go through all the certification for the sewer and the water as well. I hope that answered most of your questions. To be quite honest, the staff worked very hard. They worked together as a team to clean up and do some housekeeping things we needed to do. Even the bathrooms are right there. I broke the bathroom over there. It was kind of bad. Everybody from my interim city secretary to the guys to my HR person really chipped in to help us get, I have a new term for all hands on deck. Everybody was working. We worked together as a team, and I think that we will definitely be monitoring going forward. And we've learned a lot about the sewer system, so we can be ready for our USDA grant application. Mr. Heimer will be at our next meeting. The sewer modeling project is coming up. I think the mayor asked me about that last week when she got back. To come and present it to tell you where they are with that project as well as the USD application. You approved it, the mayor has signed it, we have submitted it, and Mr. Heimer will be coming to present to you a reference to that. Mayor, are there any questions?
I have a question. If there's another incident from the sewer plant, will there be fines accrued or from TCEQ or from Sarah or?
That is a good question, and I did ask that question myself. Because we're in this program that you applied for and was accepted to in 2007, we have submitted some, not on a timely basis, but some reports. No, we are not in a position to be fined. They are here to assist us going forward, and we should not have any problems with the fines.
Councilman Eric, what TCQ was in the first place, when we immediately started researching the issues that we had.
And they were pretty impressed the way we started troubleshooting. They understand that we had spills. And what the restaurant told me, this happens all the time. Because I mean, your brother up north has it all. That's San Antonio. So the thing that they said, they were impressed that we started immediately taking care of the problems that we had. That included, we put an up system that wasn't there but should have. We put an alarm when the breaker trips. That should have been there and it wasn't. We upgraded the beacon light, so if it does happen, the light will be bright enough where people can see it. The horn is going to go on. If the breaker trips, the up system is going to continue alarming and calling us. We have put in a high level, a stop on motors. We have put the low level, if it goes beyond the low level. And before it even happens, we should begin alarming. We've got the fixes that will make us proactive instead of reactive. And today when I met with the investor, Chris, as a matter of fact, he complimented David for the work that he did. He complimented us for taking action quite quickly. He didn't expect us to get everything done. And Mr. Turner was there when he actually said, I didn't think y'all were going to complete everything that we gave you. So we can't guarantee 100% that nothing like this will happen again, but I can tell you that we will be alarmed before something critical happens.
Who gets the first phone call?
First phone call will be David on second, and the person that eventually will get his license will be third.
The who?
The person right now plays in training. We're going to send him to school. Once he gets his B license, then he'll be able to work with the process. Right now, TCQ don't allow us that for him to touch the process until he gets the license. So for right now, we're as secure as we can be.
As long as all those issues are being addressed, I don't think there should be, as long as all those issues are being addressed, I think there shouldn't be any problems in the near future.
And they were addressed and we completed. Yeah, we turned them in today.
Okay. Thank you.
And I do want to thank the council for coming out and calling and following up and checking with me as we were there to late hours of the day, and even on the second and the third spill, and being understanding as staff is trying to find out what the difficulties were from the emails to the calls. I really appreciate it. The mayor was there. Actually, I think at one point in time, we had all councilmen come, call, check in to see. It was important to me. It was important to my staff, and I know it was important to you.
Did we get it posted?
They were not all there at the same time.
Let me make sure it was-
Inadvertently, different places, different locations.
I would like to make a recommendation, and I don't know if it's one that would work, but, you know, Andrew just gave us the protocols to who to call first. It's always going to be the neighborhood there that notices it. Can we post a sign on the fence of the sewer plant, you know, for emergencies and just list the numbers in the order?
Well, what we did, and the reason why we put the strobe and the alarm, so it's a horn and alarm, because they're on site, they saw it first. So we want to alert that before it starts spilling out, and something works, that's why we put the strobe and a very, very loud horn. But what we would want them to do is to call 911. And we can put that on the fence, because we need to call 911, and then 911 dispatch will dispatch out the appropriate person, the people that are on call, and they have those numbers. But the auto dollar will call those cell phone numbers. But we want the horn and the flashing light. We say it's not a good thing. They should be there to call 911. That's what we're instructing to do.
I think we need to put those instructions there because they're going to have that.
We will definitely put that, we can put those there, because there's some additional signs we have to do. Monica, can you make note of that? Do we make sure we put a sign on the fence that says, if the alarm goes off, please call 911?
Because Andrew lives way over there, and his name lives in San Antonio.
Yes.
They're not going to see that light.
Oh, they're not going to see, but we did put the light there because we know that it's an attraction and that they're watching it. And I can't blame them. If I lived there, I would watch it as well to alert that something's wrong before it starts. So the alarm shouldn't be, it's spilling over. The alarm should be, something's wrong.
See, but on those incidents that happened, it didn't alert them by phone because of the issues that it had. So that's why I'm saying that if we have numbers and the neighbors can call, because
911 is a number, we'll put that on the fence. Any alarm you can service, 911.
If, actually, Mayor, if we do get an alarm, it's going to be a high-level flow at 7 feet. The wind blow is 25 feet. But it gives us at least a leeway of 30 minutes to get there before it.
well, I'm not worried about the time it takes to get there. I want you to find out that it's happening. And if the
should.
phones don't do the calling like they're
It should.
supposed to.
It should.
Well,
Because
this
now-
time it didn't.
Well, because it was tripping the
Right.
breaker.
That's why I'm saying.
Now we have put the alarm, if the breaker trips, it's gonna call us. And when the power goes out to the wet well, we have the up system that's gonna continue calling us for 4 hours.
There's a backup generator, correct?
Yeah, but that is.
It is now.
No,
It's connected now.
the backup generator is if we have complete power out, it kicks on. Like if a squirrel goes into a transformer at Phelps and knocks everything out on Goliad Road, the alarm will call us and the generator will kick off. They'll keep the plant.
At the first bill, y'all were receiving phone calls, correct? Y'all had received phone
Well,
calls
the
every
reason
day?
we didn't receive the phone call was because the breaker tripped and killed the power in the panel, so there was no alarms going out because we didn't have enough system.
My understanding was from other staff there that evening was that they did receive the phone calls.
Yeah, once they went in there and we said the breaker, the alarm started going off.
Okay.
Because the power now went back to the panel.
Yeah, correct, yeah. No, I understand the process, but,
But when it tripped, at that point, we were blind because nothing was going out. When you reset it, it immediately comes up, knows an alarm happens, and it starts alarming. But you have to reset the breaker. But that problem has been fixed now. If it does trip, they'll call us, and we're in the process of upgrading that circuit from 600 volts to 125 to 600 volts to 25. So it will stand a little bit more. If for any reason, pump starts malfunctioning and starts shattering and throws a surge, that bigger breaker should not.
So the first phone call that y'all received was from a citizen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which is why we put the strobe and the horn on, and we're gonna put the sign up to say the 911. So we want citizens to know who to contact. But we did appreciate that contact, and as did I.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go on. I'm sorry.
Comment?
Yes, sir.
I have a comment and also a question. First of all, is there a way to proactively inform the surrounding citizens when there is a potential danger that we have this time, so that they don't come around and maybe hinder the operations that we indicate so happen? So is there a way, when something like this happens, whoever can do that, maybe spread out, if it causes or that potentially causes a danger to the surrounding area, so that they can be relieved to the point that they don't start coming in or trying to get the information other ways. And then the question, as I would assume a lot of citizens are concerned with all the new growth and I guess attachments or whatever you call them to the current system, are these incidents in any way related to a problem with us being over capacity, so to speak?
We haven't had an issue with capacity at all recently. One of the things with the growth, that's why we're looking for the USDA grant, because of the growth, the potential growth and the growth that we had. One of the things that they did point out was the grease of the system. And everybody knows what grease will do to any system. That we have an ordinance in place. The attorney has reviewed recently the ordinance in place. We shared it with TCEQ. We have an ordinance. Enforcement we don't really have. So we need to actively enforce our grease trap ordinance so that we can stop having the grease go to the plant. He's saying you can see it. It's foaming up. We have an issue with it. So we're going to have to address that. Andrew has some degreaser that we're going to be putting into the system, but we're going to have to actively enforce our grease trap ordinance because it is causing us a problem. But as far as capacity is concerned, we have no problem with capacity. We can contact our 911 system to see if they have a reverse 911. We can call people in that area. But we can look at some kind of notification, even if it is a letter or a flyer that we can pass out the next day so that people know what happened to alert people. We can look into that as well.
Are you going to be giving that emergency letters to restaurants that are calling about this issue?
Well, we're hoping to, you and I are going to go to Wilson County. We've met with Mr. Baker from the health inspector to talk about revitalizing and bringing them back. At one point in time, you had a relationship with them to do a health inspections. That has not happened for some time, so we want to be able to do that to help us with the enforcement of this grease trap issue. That would definitely be something, and something that we can go forward in our code enforcement program once we get that up and going. So that is going to have to be one of our highlights because it's noted on the inspection. We do have the ordinance, it's just enforcement that we need to start doing.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Now we're going to go on to item 2B, marketing website for the city of Floresville. Jose Garcia.
Aldo Garcia, from the Critics Advertising from Radio, and I thank you for the opportunity. With Madam Mayor, that we've known each other for years, for the City Council, and we prepared something to see if it's that will meet your needs for your marketing for the website. content management system. It's a CMS, and it is meant to be easy to update. You don't need a techie once the website is ready, or when it's up, you don't need somebody like an IT person or anybody to, to make updates. We concentrated on industry, based on a previous meeting, that we need to promote Floresville in many levels. One of them, of course, was through the economic development. Other one was through the chamber. And one of the things that we were asked, okay, we need to make this item visible. Okay, I'm just going to go through, through some of the spot areas of what we figure would be important to this community. As I said, Floresville economic development is right there. Of course, if we click it here, it will take us to your present website. And so on to, if we do the same for Floresville, it will take us to Floresville Chamber. And I don't know if we connected this one. But those are key areas that we will promote for the city of Floresville. Economic development, the chamber for doing business within business, and then of course, once they're here, what are the availability as far as the real estate market is concerned. Another thing is, we feel that a content management system of this nature needs to have a tight content, a rather tight connection with your constituents. People need to know when your meetings are. They need to go into your website, regularly find out this kind of information. So with that thing in mind, you see those on the upper left. Here, right here, we have my presentation, of course, and then, of course, here that we have, the meetings. If we click it, it'll take you to a very effective calendar. It's effective in the sense that it gives you more information than just giving you a date. It will give you information on your agendas. It will have access to your minutes, and any important information will always be there. And the beauty of this, you don't need to archive this. Everything resides in the cloud. If something great matter would happen, this will still be available. All you have to do is go to, I guess, a McDonald's and open up a laptop, and you're back again in business. All this resides in the cloud. Of course, our welcoming message there. Also, we wanted to have, we packed in as much information that we could about the fold. The fold is basically what you see on your first screen. In there, we wanted to, of course, to do a welcoming message, either from the mayor, just a general message. But I do want to push other attractions when they're in Floresville. For example, I started out with city parks. You have several nice areas here. Another one that I just found out about from Laredo, that they come over here to do, to try out the cycle ranch motocross there, which I didn't know, that they told me when I was talking to some people over there. Of course, the pride and joy will be your golf clubs, rather your golf. Yeah. So that will be readily up there. Another thing, since we had suggested that this particular website will not cost the city, well, it does cost the city some, but it will be funded by hotel motel tax, because this fits directly with that. The last 3 months of the year, including, and then the first month of this year, there was a revenue over $1.5 million in revenue of just the 7 hotels that you have here. That's 4 months. And at 6% on the low end, that makes a dramatic chunk of money that can easily pay for this, for this project. Also, other ideas that we had that we can use the website as income streams. And we suggested a couple of those. HEB comes to mind, banks can do. This one is sold, the weather's always good maybe for banks. The banking Falfurrias is going to sponsor their weather because we do work with the city of Falfurrias. Okay, let me tell you a little bit of what we do. We work with smaller communities, just like yours, to bring tourism or to bring income from further, because no small town can last on its own. They need extra extra revenue from outside to come into so that you can, so that you can sustain. And that's been our experience the last 10 years or 15 years. We have our clients, or Zapata, Valfurias, City of Freer, City of Totula, and we have two counties, which is LaSalle and Jim Hall, as our clients for this kind of setups. Other things that we feel that are very important are this. You have a high influx of a transient community. In just Floresville, you have about 66 offenders. And it's important to know this for your community. There they are, and their addresses, and their maps. Information that every small community should, because, I mean, what we found out is that sexual predators, they tend to like small communities because they're very transient, especially now that you have with this Eagle Ford shale thing, you may have a lot of that. Another one is what you were talking, well, Mr. Turner was talking about, being prepared, all this still that have been going on. We established a emergency system in the city of Freer through Nixle. It's called Nixle, and that particular program is being used by larger communities. Laredo has the Nixle program, and Freer does as well. That's free to you guys. We just set it up, and it's channeled through either the sheriff or through the city police or any of the key government officials also that can disseminate this kind of information on the spot. I know we all rely on Facebook, but this is the official way to channel the official news to your general public. And that is great. That's an app basically that can be that it can be downloaded, but it has to be tied into your website. And we do that for you as well. Elections are very important. So in here, I don't know if we have it, but in there you'll see the election reports, statistics, comments, stuff like that. And as you can see, we have a commentary. Facebook, some may like it, some may don't, but Facebook gets you the word out, it gets you connected, even way beyond your community. When we first did the city of Freer, we went with this particular system. And in no time we had visitors from Nebraska, from, there are people who know Freer, who live up Freer, they want to have that little time back then to what they remember. And this is the best way of doing it. You can monitor these things. This particular software will allow you to monitor and accept comments. So there's no danger of you being, there's been a bad mark or anything. Not with this particular program, the way they install it. We did a key, we feel that the city government, their offices should be clearly explained. We couldn't find that in your present website. Like in this case, the duties of the mayor, the duties of the city council, and of course we put in our city council. I didn't get because I don't have a picture for that person, but this is the way that the information will be displayed. And then also will be comments that will be related to that kind of information. Your meetings, notices, and ordinances, those items are very important, and we feel that they should be really, available in any form. Of course, you just click on them, you'll see everything that is related to that. Every information that we have here is searchable. Those PDF that you see or not, we need to convert them so that they can be searched. Let's say that it's been a year and you want to find that particular information. The way you have it may not appear because there are scans of a paper. It's a picture or something. We convert those so that you can find them. Each and every document should do that. Other facts and figures and stuff like that, we were able just to populate what I'm showing you. This is everything that is related to government that you may not search on a daily basis. The site menu is what you may use more often. What's available in jobs? If you want to submit a work request, all these things, your pay find online, that's so important. I mean, that's a great revenue maker right there, and so on. And that that's how we segregated this particular menu so that it'll be easy for your constituents to always lock it in and find it there. Also on the front page, the news is very important so that we have people coming back and back again. We have, it's very important for you to have news on a constant basis. Every news will appear there as a teaser. We come from the newspaper, so we know what a teaser, the importance of a teaser gets your attention to eventually come back. We have that. And then also we feel that there should be a strong tie to the community. So we put in any messages that the community may want to advertise or to show or to inform, and that includes your schools, your church schools, your social clubs, etc. Another one is, of course, the archives for those people who like that kind of information. Lastly, well, I'll show you the calendar. It'll give you all the events that are coming up. When the event happens, it just goes away. It will not be shown again. Very, very simple. One last thing. Any of those who have a phone, can you dial that for me and show me what you've got? That little message right there. Anybody? What I want to show you here is that this particular website will adjust itself to the mobile phone. I'm going to do a quick view right here of how it would look on your phone. 60% of the searches of anything are being done by a mobile phone. Mobile phones, iPads, anything that's mobile, that's how things are being done. So with that thing in mind, we do convert all our websites to this fashion now. And this is as close as I can get to to showing you how it would look on your iPhone or any mobile phone that you have. The menu will convert itself into that, and so on. The big question. As I mentioned, it's a content management system. And I need the slide for you.
You know what I mean? We met and had a really good meeting, myself and Tommy Baker, and I believe Tommy brought some EDC members as well to see the presentation so they can have an opportunity to see that. One of the things we were trying to do, as you all know, social media is very important. And we can look very large and get a lot of information out very quickly by using the internet itself. One of the things, it seems like everybody has a Facebook page, everybody has an internet and web page, but they don't interact with each other. And what we're hoping to do is have a design that we can market our community socially, economically, hotels, to be able to do that. But also partner with EDC, 4B, 4A, the schools, the county, local people, local businesses, downtown associations, the chamber. We want this to be the main page where everybody looks alike. And the simple things is a link we can do. So we're hoping to have a more integrated system, if that's the proper term I want to use, to integrate everybody for social media. We need to be able to tell the story of Floresville. There's a wonderful story to tell. We need to be able to have Lou's, did I say like Lou's, the golf course? To have him to be able to do that. Purchase ads, to have people to have advertising. He has a wonderful card system right now where you can come buy a $10 lunch and punch it. We need him to be able to advertise that. All on this site for a nominal fee. But what's most important is that when people search on Google in the San Antonio area, there's a certain way that you write it, Floresville will pop up. You want something to do, I think Mr. Guerrero, Councilman Guerrero mentioned the HEB is having a biking event, I believe you said in August. We can advertise something like that, put pictures up there, and staff can do it. They say it's very simple, point and click. Mr. Baker, in one-man show, can be able to list and post his agendas, his meetings, his advertising. We can send people and drive people to this website. But when they come into EDC, they're coming to the city of Floresville. So we all have to be, excuse the pun, on the same page. We need to look alike. His website doesn't look like ours. Our website doesn't look like his. And we need something that's more interactive, that's moving, frequently asked questions. Those kind of things, they will design it, custom design it to what we want. A template that we can design, a template that staff can add to, a template that you can add to. You can have, you need to click on, you can get a really good picture of you too.
That was a good one. I saw the picture.
Yes, we're gonna get a really good picture of you.
Not too much glare.
So that it can be interactive, so that people can email you, they'll send it to your email, you can answer people, get comments, that you can have an opportunity to say whatever's happening that you want to put out there, what's important to you, we can be able to do that. So we want to have something that's interactive, we want to have something that looks like the state of the art, and this is what we're hoping to do. But not only that, we need a full project, a full purpose. We want to be able to have small handbooks that people can pass out, and welcome bags. I know the Chamber's putting together some welcome books, a welcome bag that they're putting together. We don't have anything as a city to put in there. To have at the front desk, to have at a local real estate office, to have at the bank, to be able to pass out to let people know the story of Floresville. And you have so much to tell. I'll keep saying my hike and bike trail. You have your wonderful peanut there to do. All the activities in the peanut festival that's happening, we can advertise and let people know that they have something that they can take with them. We do have a lot of people coming in now through this community. They need to pick those up as they go through to come back and shop at our historical downtown. So those are things we need to put together, and if it all looks alike, it ties in together, we can be able to tell the story of Floresville a little better. But we need the professionals to do so. We need people who have the marketing skills to put it together. And the cost is always important, but if we can share the cost with EDC and other entities, and also use some of our hotel motel tax money to promote Floresville, to promote our community center, and to have larger entities to come. Because you're right, those people do come here and bike. We have people who come here to take advertisement and do training right here at our community center. Gloria does a great job. I thought I saw her earlier. Gloria does a great job keeping that busy, but you can imagine how busy she would be if we had something like this up. And we can advertise that they're having the wonderful home and garden show the third time, right? The fourth time coming up. So these are things we want to advertise to ourselves, and we can push people to go. I know, living here in Floresville now, I know Wilson County News is online. Everybody goes there to see and to blog. We're not having a blog portion. Sorry, Wilson, but we're not having a blog portion, but we want to be able to see people use the internet. And so we want to be able to be interactive, to have it out there so people can have the information. So this is what we're proposing, hoping to do. So it's not just the media portion here on social, it's also some print media as well. So welcome books as well, so we can let people know the story of Floresville. The kind of travel bureaus that we can put together. But
Yeah, Mr. Members, I did present to Mr. Barker, well, Mr. Baker already, and he's got the proposals for the print, for the brochures, for the magazines, and there's a plan also in there. So, is there any questions?
All of that's inclusive. All that's inclusive in.
No, that's separate apart. This is the website only. This is what you have here, what I've shown you. Even though that there's links to the EDC, by their request, they want to have their own separate, but they want to have the same look as that of the city. So there will be two different websites. And why? Because two different databases that are needed for the particular project.
And you're going to be able to pay your bill and everything.
Yeah, that figure that you see, it's all inclusive, and that what all inclusive means is that we will develop it, we will maintain it, host it, we'll do all the maintenance, all the updates, which are unlimited updates, any updates, which means things that we can do from the office. Because it may be like, well, we want a picture taken from this particular ribbon cutting. Well, that's not an update that can be included. But if you take that picture, send it to us, it is included. All right. The benefit of this is that it can be updated by anybody. And then I went through my little
Anybody as a
Anybody
specific
who works,
employee?
right, anybody who goes to work, basically, that's, you know, and if I can show you, do I have the time? I'll show you real quick. In here,
So if those people have like passwords or something?
everybody's, there are 7 levels of security. And what I mean by that is that one person will be the authority, and then others can input, but will not be shown until somebody else approves it. And so on, those are the different levels that you have within it. And you can have groups within those levels as well. What I'm going to do here is basically this. This is your tools, and you can notice already, those are the tools which are Word. Okay, let's say that I need to make an update on the front page, just an update. I'm not going to go into writing a story because that will take a little bit of time. But let's say that I want to update that because we found a spelling error. All I need to do is log in. You're going to see this little thing that says edit at the very, it will only appear once you log in. Any of the levels can do so. Go to my edit. I can change the format, I can change typefaces. Let's say I want to open that thing up. And I want to delete this particular sentence because I don't like it. I can make any other changes, I can add pictures, anything within that, because this particular tool set you're already familiar with. Is a Word document tool set. I made my changes, all I have to do is save and refresh.
Well, within that, you can still add your hyperlinks and so forth.
Yes,